Good evening.
Good evening.
It's Brett and Cindy, T and Gardner, sitting on the front porch, looking around the skyline, making it so pretty.
A lot cooler now than it was today. Probably the second hottest day we've had.
It is a hot one.
Everything I planned on the video yesterday was trying to wilt today. It was so hot.
I was trying to wilt a little bit. You know, it was a good Sunday. We were discussing Brother Rick's sermon this morning. He had talking about the things you need to have and things we think we gotta have. Got me to thinking about some stuff we think we gotta have, but we don't really have to.
I got to thinking about a couple of the channels I watch. I got started on YouTube years ago watching different channels, but the last few years I started watching people that had off-grid homes and homesteading, and which you usually get into prepping, and it kind of falls into the same group. And I got to think about some of the channels I've been watching lately today, because here's someone talking about the things you need and the things you just think you need. And I got to think about how they're prepping for, they call it life-changing events.
We've had a few of those.
And I was thinking about, well, life-changing event, not every one of them is thinking the end of the world or the end of society, but it could be physical life-changing events. We took a trip today to Walmart. We went to one of the biggest Walmarts in Tennessee.
Son reminded that we had told him we would take him to get him a kayak.
I had time to think riding down the road, riding down the interstate.
Get to talking about the things you need and you don't have to have.
Well, we got to thinking about the things that we keep around here, what we have put back. We've had some life-changing events in our marriage. Well, since we've been married, I had several.
Quarter of a century.
Like the first year we was married, the first few weeks after we was married.
Yeah.
We had ice storms that year.
Blocked up everything.
That was 25 years ago. The ice storm was bad enough, it coated all the roads, broke the power lines, shut off the phone, electricity, everything. Of course, back then we didn't have internet, we didn't have a computer, didn't know much about one. We really didn't worry about that much. We got up and done our own thing. I got out and went to my job.
I tried, but
hers was shut down because there was no power. I drove to mine and we really didn't do anything because there was no power where I got up there either. But back then things was different. We always had a few supplies at the house. You always keep extra food.
well, you bought groceries a week at the time.
We had, of course, we've had a couple of floods over the years. It's cut off roads and power and shut down, more or less shut down this town the way you know it. We could get around, but you couldn't really get anything in or out.
Oh yeah.
It didn't last long.
Flood run. I dare to. Or what about the time that the bank was changing its system over? You couldn't get your checking account, debit card, and touch nothing for like 3 or 4 days.
We got carried on with the way everybody is in society, and we put almost all of our money in the bank. One but a week or two before we'd done this. We went for a week without any money. If the bank shut down, we couldn't get money out of the bank. We couldn't write a check. We couldn't use a debit card. But we had enough stuff at the house. We made it. We didn't have to go to the store. We didn't have to have gas. We had enough gas. And somehow, all the vehicles, even though I don't put much gas in one anymore.
You got that right.
We managed it the rest of the week. I was thinking, what if a life-changing event, as they call it, lasted quite a while? Do we have the stuff here? Is my family safe with what we got at the house? Could we survive for a week or two? Like the flood in 2010 here. Our neighboring county, it cut it off completely from everybody else. Their roads was cut in two, their power was cut, their phones and internet, everything was down. It took them 2 or 3 days to get where they could actually communicate with the rest of the world. They never thought about the little old river that runs through here had been that powerful, taking that much stuff out. That it can happen before you realize it.
Or even if it wasn't something like that, I mean, our little grocery store, we have a dollar store now, but we have a little grocery store. The owner, she slipped and fell and passed away. The family, I mean, opened the store, but it was a day or two before the store opened back up.
The elderly around here kind of depend on that store, so they still deliver to the elderly. They deliver to the ones that shut in. But for 2 or 3 days, there was nobody at that store.
Well, then everybody understood why. Everybody understood and was willing. What can we do to help, kind of thing, and was all saddened. But it makes you think. It don't always have to be something wild and crazy. It's just something that changes or alters your day in, day out living. Makes you think.
When we got to Walmart,
So
there's a lot of people. It's one of the biggest Walmarts around. Or the busiest one, probably.
I'm finding I don't like the big city either.
But we got on the internet this morning and found what the kayak he was looking for, and they had it. So we knew we had a mission. We drove directly up there to get it and was going to come back. But as I said, he was buying the kayak. He's worked this summer. He's made his money. He wanted to buy the kayak himself. We just stood behind him and let him do it. We was there in case something didn't go right, because he is young and this is he got his first checking account going. But I got to watching people. I really didn't have nothing else going on other than making sure he got his kayak paid for and everything went right. And again, I got to think about what some of these homesteaders and prepping people was talking about. They've discussed shortages of food, which we hadn't seen it here. Everything seems to be good here. Didn't see anything there, but just watching people and how they interacted with each other, how impatient people was, and like we talked about, it's a microwave society. What would happen if something was short in that store? Food did come up short. How would they react with each other? How would they react with somebody they didn't know like us? Nobody there probably knew who we was. We were far enough away from the house, we didn't know anybody there. So how would they have treated us? How would they treated their own family or their own friends if, what they was needing was suddenly gone? I'm not to the point of being a prepper. I don't blame them. I understand it. And they got some good ideas, but I'm thinking it's probably a good idea to put a few things up. It don't hurt to can food and put it back. A few extra supplies, just in case something does go wrong. Life-changing events can happen at any time. It's like when I got laid off that time.
Oh, yeah.
That was a life-changing event. I got laid off the first day back of it was the first day of the 2nd of January 2009. I went into work, clocked my card, and my boss man met me at the door and said, "I'm sorry, but you got to go home. We had to lay you off, and they won't let me keep you." I clocked my card and went back to the house. I got 5 minutes, maybe.
We didn't have nothing saved up.
We was not prepared for that. We was way in debt. We had a few things here, but not really for what that happened, because that took 6 months to get another job.
Yep.
That's when the stimulus programs came out, and I actually got a stimulus job. Thankful for it. It's got me in the job I'm in now.
God provided.
God had provided, because we didn't have enough put back. We had a few things in the freezer. We had a few canned goods. We had the basics. But we didn't have money for, you got to wait a week when you go on unemployment. It takes a week or two for the unemployment check to make it to your house. So we went 3 weeks without a paycheck. I was the breadwinner at that time.
Yeah.
So we had no real paycheck for almost a month.
2 kids.
2 kids. We had back then we had a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old running around. Just got done with Christmas and New Year's. Probably the reason why we didn't have no money.
Yeah.
We had a big time on Christmas. We had young kids. You
Wasn't anticipating the layoff.
wasn't anticipating being laid off first thing Monday morning. We made it. God provided. But we done a lot of side jobs, and I sold tools and sold my vehicle. We made ends meet.
Did what you had to do. But you know, I don't know. The last couple of years, the Lord has really been changing how we see things. And maybe it's because we are getting a little older.
It's a little hot out here.
Maybe we're getting a little, because we're a little older, we're getting a little more wiser. I don't know.
I think it's the Lord changing us.
But I think He's starting to have us say, hey, not everything that the world tells you is the greatest thing in the world is the greatest thing in the world. Because I'm starting to really think, now don't get me wrong, I love modern technology. I like my air conditioning. I like my electricity and the internet and all that stuff. But I also can see how it's so distracting and takes us away from family and friends. I mean, I don't know, in the last few months, I've spent more time talking to my children than I have in a long time. Just enjoying their company.
We turned off the television a couple of years ago, satellite. Pretty much quit using the computer other than watching a few things on YouTube. Like I said, I got to watching channels about homesteading and solar, and we got our solar power set up. I got to watching them garden and homesteading and raising animals, and
Well,
that's the only
God is
reason we
talking
really
about
got.
our childhood too.
That's the only reason we really got back on the computer. We got on YouTube and decided to try YouTube ourselves.
We got to talking about how we was raised and how our grandparents did things. Thought we archive our knowledge of what our grandparents did on the YouTube channels. The gardening tips and all the stuff that you've learned over the years from grandparents, and just stories for our kids to enjoy, share with our grandkids. And, you know, I guess it's our modern day pictures. We don't have the photo albums and the stories to tell. We have videos now. And it's just it makes you stop and think. Kids today, not that it's anything wrong with it, but they don't understand, if the power goes out, they don't know what to do with themselves. If their cell phone dies and they can't charge that battery, they don't really know what to do.
No, they're lost without a cell phone anymore. I deal with cell phones daily on the bus if I can do it still. They become part of their life, and they don't really understand that it wouldn't take but just a flip of a switch and the internet could be gone or the power could be off or both.
They don't understand life before cell phones.
I don't know what they would do, because their world would be crushed if their cell phone didn't come on and they couldn't connect to somebody.
We've gotten so dependent on the right now society. Like we were talking about the impatience at the store. People are so used to, I call it the microwave society, because we're used to that instant gratification. You want to know something, you get your phone out and you Google it. Or you look it up on the computer.
I ain't saying we run into all bad people, but there were some friendly people. And I cut up and talking to different ones, but there were some that when they came to the store, they had a bad outlook on things. They came in and looked like they was upset already. The one standing in the line with us was upset in the line. I thought was moving good.
The little woman was doing real good checking people out. She had a real long line too.
We was proud to get back in the vehicle and get back to a smaller area.
I was happy to see my little driveway actually. I don't do so good in big cities anymore.
I'm talking about the channels I watch. I don't knock them at all for what they believe and what they're doing. I like some of the ideas. I'm learning from them. I'm not ready to have a five-year storage of goods, but it's made me think over the last few weeks. I've watched some of it. It would be good to have some supplies put back. Told you somebody had to do that.
Yeah. That's life in the small town.
I think it's good to have a few things put back. It's everybody's different belief in how much, but I've got an idea of what I'd like to have here, what all we'd like to have stored. The garden makes a big difference. We can a lot of it. I'm trying to get away from the deep freeze, trying to not be dependent on electricity, because you do have outages. You know, was it last year or year before last when the power company had to shut the power off for a weekend? They shut off 8 and 9 hours 2 nights in a row.
Last March, I think.
It was 2 weekends, Friday night and Saturday night both. They shut the power off for 8, 9 hours a night. Now, if you kept your refrigerator door closed and your freezer shut, there wasn't no problem with it. But you had to prepare. And some people wasn't prepared. They didn't have anything. The stores were shut down. The stores, actually the Dollar General wasn't prepared. The little Dollar General we got in our town. They lost their freezer section.
Well, they
was unprepared for what was coming and didn't understand.
And of course, you know, they wouldn't take a chance on people's health, so
They wouldn't sell it.
the temperature
Wouldn't give it away.
the temperature got too high on their charts, and the computer spit out a warning, and they said, no, we're not selling any of this.
They throw dumpsters full of food away.
Which, I mean, I respect that. But there was a lot of people like, wait a minute, though, we need groceries. You know, and it took a few days for them to get their truck down here to replenish it.
It was an eye-opener for a lot of people.
It was for us. That's when we started tinkering with the solar more. Back up, secondary.
That's when I told you on solar.
Actually, it was.
That was the night when you come home and I had the solar power run to the house. I'd used it in the greenhouse and played with it for about a year in the greenhouse and had everything out there working. I run an extension cord in that night. The first night they shut it off. Plugged up the fan, hooked up the Wi-Fi where I could use my cell phone. Turned on a light or two. He was gone late that night.
Yeah, it was about 11:30 when we got home. We gone to a meeting.
He rolled back in and I was the only house in the whole city that had light.
And you talking about beacon in the night, when there is not, it was so black here, you couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. The moon wasn't even shining that night. But my little porch, my little light, Brett turns on the light and everybody in the car goes, how do you have light? And I snickered and I said, well, I guess he's hooked it to that solar panel he has out back.
And they asked me how I had power. I said, I know people. I didn't tell them what I was talking about, but I just told them I know people, and they made a funny face and drove off. We had a fan all night. We had light when we needed it. That solder on the solar power, that's the reason
That's how we got that secondary.
we've got backup solar power now.
Kind of helps out when everybody else's lights blink and you're like, okay.
We're not 100% on it, but we use quite a bit of it. We're still playing with the idea of going 100%, but still like to. It's just not in the budget right now.
There's so much expense to it and so much changing you have to do.
It wouldn't take a whole lot more money to go 100%. It's a plunge that we ain't ready to take. We gotta get away from the deep freeze and the big gigantic freezer and find something to cool the house a little better, and it wouldn't be that bad.
I like having an electric company too. They're pretty reliable. And I don't have to figure out how to do it.
I would like to go to 100% and have them on backup.
Yeah, that's true too. It's just kind of.
A little bit of a peace of mind knowing that you have power. If it storms or something happens to the electric company, we still have power.
My other thought
We can
was,
make some adjustments and do a lot of things with the power we have. We've got quite a bit.
and that's why I wanted to learn how to do the garden. I know I used to help with it when I was a kid, but I don't remember very much about it. But what happens, kids today, our son and daughter, they chose to learn a little bit since you love to garden so much, but there's so many that don't realize that farmers are the reason the food gets to the store.
A lot of people don't realize where food comes from.
No. They think you just go to the store and get it. They don't realize that farmers grow it. And that's how it gets to the store. Somebody has to grow it. Raise it.
Oh, that's what's been on our mind today. Our sermon was kind of led us in that direction. And circumstances going on around us. Of course, going to Walmart. Dealing with big city people. And dealing with traffic. And dipping in and out of the interstate.
I'm not as comfortable now in big towns. I get unnerved easily. So going to the big city was a stretch for me today. We used to go up there every weekend. Every weekend.
We was first married, we kept the roads hot. We went shopping every Friday night. We always had the money. Give us something to do. We went out and spent time with each other. Went out to eat with Sonic. Went to Walmart, hobby shop. The hobby shop was my thing. Walmart was kind of your thing. We just enjoyed our time together. Give the time to relax and talk about what happened at work that week. Have fun and cut
Blow
up.
the check that we just got.
Blow what little money we did have.
Oh.
We never did have much to blow, but it didn't take long. So
We were young and foolish.
it was a good time.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I don't know. I guess there's just some times when you just stop and you learn to appreciate the blessings that God gives you.
I've learned to appreciate
Simple
the small
things.
town living or really rural type living. It's really like living out. It's not really like having town.
There's a time I wanted to leave this joint. I could not stand the small town, everybody knowing your business stuff. But now, I like my small town, everybody knowing my business stuff. It's kind of funny. I don't know that too many people realize that we do these things. I think they're starting to figure it out, though.
I think they've got this idea that we're trying to sneak around and do this. No, we're not advertising what we're doing. We're learning to do this. I don't know where this is going to go. We ain't got no big plans with it. But some of the local people I know is watching. I know they watch it on Facebook. Those Facebook tells on them. They might not know it, but I know it because I get friend requests suddenly from them. Facebook tries to make us friends. It ain't the fact they want to. When they're the number one person that comes up every night and you get on Facebook, they've probably been watching your videos. That's all I really do on Facebook is put videos and make a comment here and there. That's all right. If they'll ask, they can be a friend on Facebook. They'll hit the like or the subscribe button on YouTube. They can join in.
They get notified every time we put one of these on it. They can watch them all then. I don't. And it just started to be. We just started doing it just to archive the stories for our kids. Maybe help somebody out if they had questions on the topics that we're talking about.
Well, we started in May. I didn't have the garden started. And I've had more than one say, why don't you make a video of that or tell me how you did that? We discussed it, so why not?
It's like my vlogs.
I really don't. I talking to the camera, and I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the camera when I do talk. But it was not ingrained in me to do this, but I'm learning to do it. I'm forcing myself to do this. There's a lot of good things on YouTube, and we're putting some back. We've used it for years.
Yeah.
I feel better now. How about you? I've done my rant, I guess.
I'm good.
I guess we're being changed back to the more simple things.
I understand my granny more.
We don't mind the technology. We just assume to have it just plain.
Well,
We don't have to have the fancy lights and sirens and bells and whistles anymore.
I just guess I'm finding the old way wasn't so bad after all. I think sometimes new and improved, new may not always be improved. Because I do feel like our technology has taken away from our family time. It's one of the reasons we turned our TV off. And more quality time together.
People get engrossed in technology and they don't.
You just don't think about it.
They don't interact anymore with anybody or anything.
Case in point, a while ago, Jesse was on his phone watching a video. I was on my phone watching a video, and you was on your phone watching a video. We're all three sitting in the same room within a few feet of each other. But now I have to say, I did like it though. We all put the phones aside and ate dinner and talked. I like that. I love that.
We
need to have more of that.
We'd almost quit using our cell phones and the computer until we started the YouTube thing in 1st of May. Now we're all on it again because we're all watching different videos. We all like different things. You make videos about your blog, and I make gardening videos. And we come together and make porch sitting videos.
Just easier to talk than text.
Technology ain't as exciting as it used to be.
But it has its purpose, just like everything else, I guess.
If it wasn't for YouTube, I don't know that I didn't turn my computer on much anymore. The whole thing, Bucky's still running probably.
Yep. But you know, it's all good. It'll all be good. The Lord will find a way to use it all somehow or another.
I don't know if you got anything out of this or what you might have got from it, but I'm glad you watched our video, and hope you enjoyed our comments. Like or subscribe, give us a comment. Good night.